Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's Your Game Again? I'm Jonathan Walter.
I'm Jesse Miller. Today, we're going to talk about a style of games that you may have heard of, but the term might be a little confusing, and that's legacy style games. A legacy game is just like another board game, but it goes on and on. It's a
Mhm.
campaign, it's a story. So you don't just play it once and then start a new one the next time you play. You play it with a group of friends to do a mission or a story, and then you continue to make choices and build that story, and that game could take you 10, 15 plays. It could take you 50 plays. It depends on
Mhm.
the actual legacy game itself. But a legacy game is you're building a legacy, you're making a story, and every decision you make in that one play together with your friends affects the next play. So that's what we're going to look at today, and we're going to share with you a few of the ones that we've played together, and with other friends, ones that we have, and then we'll highlight some other ones that we hope to play sometime soon. So maybe this legacy style is for you. Maybe you don't want just a one and done quick board game, but you like opening boxes or creating your own story or discovering new things. Then legacy's for you. The first one on our list is Seafall. Now, Seafall,
Mixed reviews.
mixed reviews. Yeah, it's the first one that we've ever played together. We actually never fully finished the story,
No.
just because some people moved during that time. Some people got really angry with the game and with each other at one point. But the cool thing about Seafall is two things. One, it's a good introduction to legacy style games because there's a lot of things that you interact with.
hmm
Um, you name your
Oh,
characters. You name new territory on a map. In Seafall, you have your own province, and you're
yes.
discovering new lands together, exploring the lands, building your province, getting new advisors, and it's kind of a lot of fun in the fact that you are opening boxes, you're writing your name on things, you're ripping up cards, you're throwing them away. It's like, once we do this, it's kind of set in stone.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fun in that aspect.
Yeah. Mixed reviews. Like, I like the game. I love uh, naming my own providence, creating my own world, the exploring aspect of it. One thing that I know people didn't like was that it seemed like the people who won would get the rewards, but then the benefit, and they would be better off the next round. But the people who didn't
Hmm.
would be kind of like stuck the same.
Yeah,
They wouldn't like have the same advantage
yeah.
as the other people had. And
Well, that kind of happened to me though. Like,
yeah, yeah,
I would thought I was in a position to honestly open a new box, discover something new. I would say my thoughts of like, "Oh, hey, I'm here," and then the other guy who really wasn't planning anything jumped in front of me and did it, and so I was kind of like for round after round,
that
kind of
was what I was gonna say.
stuck. Like,
I was gonna say you're playing the whole game. You're playing like this certain strategy
yeah,
where you're gonna get, because you're I think there's three objectives you're going for,
yeah,
and then so you're going for the one objectives, and then the last minute, the turn before you're gonna complete the objective,
yeah,
somebody steals it on you, and
yeah.
then you're just screwed for the rest of the game.
But that's kind of like the exploration game, I guess. So it's a little bit like realistic in that sense because
Mm-hmm.
like you don't always get to do the thing you want, and it can take some time to work between turns if somebody's not paying attention. Um, but like I said, opening a new box, writing your name on things, naming characters. That is kind of fun, especially if you like choose your own adventure story type of things.
Mm-hmm.
The other perk about this game is it's super cheap right now. It started out as this like
$80 game.
expensive $80+ Kickstarter thing, I think. And now you can get it on Amazon for $24. So it's not a huge investment. And a lot of legacy games are a big investment because of the quality of the material is so good. Like
And the limited use.
yeah, limited use too. Like you're basically using these games one time, but that one time can be like 30 hours of playing with your friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's Seafall. Next on our list is, you've probably heard us talk about it before. It's one of my favorite games ever, and that's Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven's the big one right now. Um, it's you. I literally painted our miniatures. Every person has a class of character that they have, and they level up by completing objectives together. So unlike Seafall, which is we're all for ourselves, Gloomhaven is cooperative. We're all working together. We all have our own personal goals,
Mm-hmm.
but we're all working together in a story that's already mapped out. Seafall doesn't have much for the story. Like that's one of the bigger complaints too about that is like there's not really a large story that kind of pulls you in with your character. You're kind of just creating your own character on your own. But in Gloomhaven, it's like think Dungeons and Dragons, but the story's there to be discovered. It's waiting for you, and the maps. So it's a dungeon crawl a little bit too. Like the tiles you lay out and play through, it's already kind of selected for you. But depending on how you complete each mission, you unlock new territory that you can explore.
Yeah, different paths you could take, and like side campaigns that'll get you certain rewards. So
Yeah. Now, Gloomhaven, the base game, the main game, is hefty, and it's usually around $120 to get that game. It's a huge investment. We've been playing it for a long time and
Yeah.
still haven't even come close to finishing it. It's a lot of fun. You want to have your same people kind of walk through it together, but there is a simpler version.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jaws of the Lion. My wife and I had a lot of fun playing that game. It's condensed,
yeah,
heavily condensed. It's only, I believe, 25 scenarios max, and you're not going to be able to do them all because certain ones you need to have certain characters to unlock. And it's the same setup as Gloomhaven, but you're not like contributing to the temple and other things like that. And actually, instead of putting the tiles together for your board, you have a booklet
yeah.
which you would open up to the page of the scenario, and it's already like printed off for you, and it tells you exactly where you put the different enemies
Yeah.
and your starting characters, and it's a lot easier for beginner players to get
Yeah.
into and a lot more cost effective.
It's streamlined. Yeah, like you said.
I think it's
instead
like
of
$40.
Yeah, you can get it
for
at
a
Target.
copy.
You can get it on Amazon. It really is like Gloomhaven simplified. So I can play this with my kids, and it would not be that hard. I also am playing it with my wife, and the funny thing is like my wife and I picked the exact opposite characters that Jonathan and Linda picked out, because we wanted to try something that they weren't trying. We wanted to go a different route a little bit. I didn't like my character at first. Now I do like my character, and so you level that up. But it's a story. You're exploring it together, and each time you play is probably an hour and a half, 2 hours ish.
Depending how long it takes you to make a
Yeah,
decision.
if you're a very slow person, it might take longer. But if you're quick to make decisions or you're thinking ahead, an hour and a half each time, and like you said, max 20 sometimes. So
And the limited use on this one isn't as bad. Really, the only thing is the stickers on the game board that I could think of. It's been a while since I've played. And I actually just took a sheet of paper and I kept track of the scenarios we did, completed, and yeah. And like when you have the different characters, like different pairings bring different things to the table. So like one strategy might work with two characters, but it won't work if you switch one out. So it like verifies the game that way too.
You can for both Gloomhaven and Jaws of the Lion. You can buy reusable stickers and seals for everything. So everything you open up in Gloomhaven, all the boxes, the new character packs, the cards that you would like rip up or whatever, you can get for like 15, 20 bucks the reusable stickers. So you're not using the ones that are permanent. You're using ones you can take on and off and play it again. So realistically, I'm probably not going to go through Gloomhaven a second time.
Yeah.
But Jaws of the Lion, absolutely, like that's easy to do with different people, multiple paths. So yeah.
There was a game I was looking at, just to see what it was about. Charterstone. That's a legacy game, and they actually sell they call it the recharge pack, in that you can take out individual pieces that you went through on your first playthrough, so you can play it again from scratch. And the board is double-sided, so what you put on one side, you just flip it over and
Play it again.
Yep.
A different way.
Which is a cool concept. Since you're spending, I think it was $60. For the game itself.
Get a little more playability out of it. So another one for us, if you are a Star Wars fan, this is a really fun one for me. Once again, pros and cons to it, but that is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Imperial Assault is very similar to Gloomhaven, except instead of playing against the story, you are playing against one person who is the Imperial army. Like they control everything the Imperials do. Sweet miniatures in this, tons of expansions, and then your other players are all different characters of the Rebel Alliance. So in each game you play, You have a mission that you've chosen to take together. You have a few options. You choose a mission, you go through that mission, and if you win, that opens up new things for your next mission. If you lose, that opens up different things for your next mission. And that goes for a campaign is about 12 to 15 plays with a specific group of friends. And at the end of that, there's a final battle. Um, Negative side, I would say, when we played, it definitely feels like you are David versus Goliath. It feels like we are the weak rebels.
But that is the theme.
That is the
Kind
theme.
of. It's not fun while you're doing it.
It's hard to beat some of these missions. Sometimes whoever is controlling the Imperials, he's got to be a little bit generous. If
Because he can really lay into you.
yeah, it could get really annoying really quick, depending on who's playing the Imperials and the temperament, I guess, of the rebels.
Yeah.
So, but there's once again tons of replayability, so many expansions, and not even like big box expansions for like Jabba's Lair, Tatooine, other places like that, but tons of character expansions. So like here's one I got, and I never even opened it yet, just because I have like a bunch of expansions. The Grand Inquisitor. I have Han Solo, I have Jabba Hutt, I have R2D2, C3PO. There's Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker. There's a ton of characters, and each character pack you get adds a little bit more of like a new mission, new campaigns, new weapons. It adds new things to the game. So some parts of the main story you really can only do if you have Han Solo. You can only do it if you have Luke Skywalker in that round. It changes the story depending on the character, which makes sense because some characters wouldn't make sense in different places in the Star Wars universe. So if you love Star Wars and you are interested in developing a story, Star Wars Imperial Assault is a great place to jump in. Like I said, Imperials can be a little bit overpowered, but it's a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, going back to being very difficult. I mean, if you are a glutton for punishment, like in the video game world, I am. Like I love the From Software games with the Dark Souls, the Bloodborne, and probably my favorite memory of playing that game was our first time playing, and I was the last one to go, and I needed to roll a certain thing. It was like a high roll that I needed to get, and last roll of the die, we got it and we won the last move because it was a time limit game. So that was like yes, we did it.
Yeah.
We beat the Empire.
Yeah, and each character that a rebel has is completely different too. So like I was a Wookiee, and I'm more brute force and like strength up front, not a whole lot of brains for my character. But then other characters had a lot more intelligence rules and things like that they could kind of figure out some objectives that we need to do better. And so each character is completely different, and there's a lot of like variables. So you really want your dice to roll the right way. You want to strategize your characters in the right positions and take out the right Imperial guys at the right time. So it's tough, but it's a lot of strategy. And once again, these pieces like need to be painted. Just like my Gloomhaven, I started painting my Star Wars pieces. I was looking at some of them today that I haven't painted yet, and I'm like, why haven't I painted these? These are awesome little miniatures that would be really sweet on display, in my game room, your game room, as well. So a couple other games that we actually haven't played but we're interested in: Pandemic Legacy. So if you've ever played Pandemic, which we've talked about before, really fun interactive game to control a pandemic, to cure the disease. And then they make multiple seasons of Pandemic Legacy, and I think Pandemic Legacy Season 1 is still the most popular.
Yeah, I think it's ranked 2 on Board Game Geek.
Yeah.
But they've made Season 0, Season 1, Season 2. I don't know if they plan on doing more or if there is more. Those are the only ones I've noticed. But yeah, you're just a group of scientists, well, not scientists, but you're a group of like experts going around the globe trying to stop this pandemic that's broken out. And you have the campaign, instead of just having your single one-off game, it's a campaign of 12 over 12 months. And in order to you must win like the game that you're on in order to advance. And each round has new features that'll permanently like alter the game. You can actually lose your characters in the game if what was it? Be upgraded and lost. And if they are lost, then you lose like the player's abilities. Like you could still have someone playing as a
Hmm.
character, but they'll turn into a civilian, so it's like a huge disadvantage.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you like Pandemic, definitely something to jump into.
Yeah. There's also Werewolf Legacy, so like One Night Ultimate Werewolf, but a legacy game. We haven't played that yet. There's also
Risk Legacy,
Risk. So if you're big in the Risk, a
which
classic
yeah,
strategy game, it adds more strategy and campaign. It's not just like a 2 to 3 hour game of Risk. It's like multiple
hmm
rounds of Risk. Um,
um,
Betrayal,
yeah,
Betrayal, House on the Hill, Betrayal Legacy. So Betrayal, the base game is exploring a haunted mansion, and there's somebody becomes the bad guy. Well, there's a legacy version of that too.
and then there's a new one on Kickstarter if you like war games, Trench Club,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a World War I strategy game that
Yeah.
it's was normally a game, single player game, and now they're making it into a legacy.
Maybe that's your theme. Maybe that's the legacy style that you want if you're into war and stuff like that. That could be it. There's a lot of different versions of legacy games. We hope this video gave you some an idea of what legacy means and the different genres or paths or storylines that you can take, the different levels of replayability that you might encounter. So we just love encouraging people to dive into new types of games and understanding different styles of games. As always, we hope that this helps you discover what's your game again. Until next time.
Um,